In this lesson, we're going to find products of special polynomials. All right, so how do I use the square of a binomial pattern? So remember, when we square something, that we take it to the second power, and that the binomial means that we have two terms. So today we're going to be squaring these binomials and looking for a pattern that occurs when we do that. And ab to the second power is an example of a binomial that is being squared. So to square something, it means that you're multiplying that part by itself and then 2 times. So we're going to take AB times AB. We're doing that 2 times. All right, so we can solve this by doing any of the methods that we had just learned. You could make a table, you could multiply it horizontally, or you can do the FOIL method. I'm going to do the FOIL method. So remember the FOIL. So I'm going to look for my first terms here, and I'm going to get a squared. And then I'm going to do the outside terms, which is, this is an outside and an outside, so I'll get AB. And then I'm going to do the inside terms, which is AB, and then we'll do the last terms within these two, and so I'm going to get b squared. And once you have that, now we're going to combine our like terms, so I'm going to be left with a squared plus, remember there's 2ab, then plus b squared. So we're going to take a look at this pattern right here when we solve some other problems that are very similar, but they have some numbers in it. We can plug things into a pattern. So we'll come back to this one just in a little bit. All right, so let's take a look at our next one here. And I have a minus b squared. So I'm going to take the a minus b. Remember, that means that you have 2 of them. And I'm going to use the FOIL method again. We're going to look, I'm going to find the first terms, which is a squared. And then I'm going to take my outside terms. So a times negative b gives you a negative ab. And then the o, the I, which is the inside 2 terms, which is another negative AB. And then now we're going to do the 2 outside terms, which is going to be a negative times a negative is a positive, and then we'll have b squared. So now again, we are going to combine. I have a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. And then let's remember that here's another pattern that we can look at when we have a binomial that's been squared. A squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So we're going to be looking at that pattern again in a minute. All right, so let's take a look at applying the pattern that we are going to notice. Remember, what we had is we had a plus b, and we had that squared. And remember that made a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So we're looking at this pattern right here when we square a positive binomial. All right, sometimes you're going to want to use this pattern, sometimes you're not. I just choose to just multiply it out, but it's here if we would want to use it. So, all right, so if we are going to use this pattern, then our x in this case is just like our a. And so we're going to have an x squared. And then this 2ab means that first of all, you're going to take your a and your b, and you're going to multiply them together. So I take this and this, I'm going to multiply together, and I'm going to get 3x. And then you're going to double that, so that will give you then 6x. And then we're going to square our b here, and I get plus 9. And the more you start doing these, you'll start to see the pattern. And notice, had you foiled it like we did the ones before, you'd have x plus 3 and x plus 3, and if I FOIL it, I get x squared. The outside terms, I get 3x. My inside terms, I get 3x, and then my outside terms, my last terms, I get 9. And so you end up with the same answer, and you'll start to see the pattern the more of these that you do. So remember, the pattern for the subtraction when you had a minus b squared was a squared minus 2ab and then you had plus b squared. So we're going to look at that pattern right there. All right, so notice how your a in this one is 4x. So you're going to be squaring that, and you'll get 16x squared. So for this middle term here, you're supposed to multiply the a and the b. So I'm going to multiply the negative y times the 4x, and then that would give us a negative 4xy, and then I'm supposed to double that, giving us a negative 8xy. And then according to the pattern now, I need to take my last term, or the b, and then I'm going to square that, so I'd end up with a y squared. Now if you don't want to follow that pattern, again, you can just do this in whichever method you would like to solve these. And I'm going to take my first terms, and I'll get 16x squared. I'll take my outside terms, and I'll get negative 4xy. I'll take my inside terms, and I'll get negative 4xy. And then I'll take my last terms, and I'm going to get plus y squared. So then we're just going to combine everything together, and 16x squared minus 8xy plus y squared. All right, so how do I use the sum and difference pattern? Notice how we're finding the product of a plus b, and then multiply it by a minus b. And so we've got the opposites of each other. And now we'll probably use this pattern more so than we even do the squared of a binomial pattern. So let's take a look at what's going to happen. All right, so I'm going to FOIL this, and I'm going to take, and I'll have a squared, and then minus ab, and then plus ab, and then we're going to multiply our b's. So we'll have minus b. And what you're going to notice is that these middle terms are always going to cancel out. And so you're left with a squared minus b squared. For our next one here, then, if I wanted to use this pattern where I have the x plus 10 and then x minus 10, is that I know that I would have the x squared, and I know that these two are going to cancel out, the positive x and the negative x, and then I'm going to be left with then my minus 100, because our last terms where you have negative 10 times 10 is going to be minus 100.
And then I'll put down the minus 100.
All right, so here again I have the 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. And so if I then did my first terms here, I'd have 4x squared, and again, notice how these two terms are going to cancel out. And so then we can just take our last one, our last terms, and I'd have minus 1, because negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. All right, example 3, how do I apply function notation? So we saw function notation earlier this year. So what this is saying is find the f of x and square it. So our f of x is this piece right here, and so what that means is I have x plus 3y, and I'm going to square it. So let's go ahead and we'll take it, and I'm going to take x plus 3y times x plus 3y, and let's go ahead and have x squared, and I'll have plus 3xy plus 3xy, and then our last terms then we'll have plus 9y squared. So let's go ahead and we're going to combine these two in the middle, and we'll have x squared plus 6xy plus 9y squared. And I FOILed this one, but you could have used the table, you could have used the pattern. You could have just done it horizontally. Any of those methods would work for solving any of these. All right, so we have the g of x, and we're going to square that. So again, we're going to take this g of x here, which is x minus 3y, and square it. And so what that looks like is x minus 3y times x minus 3y. And again, we could use the table. We could FOIL it. We could use the shortcut. I'm just going to go ahead and FOIL it. And then I'm going to do my inside terms, which is negative 3xy, and then I'll do my outside terms, which is going to give me positive 9y squared. So again, these two come together in the middle. So you have your x squared, and then minus 6xy, and then plus 9y squared. And again, you could have used the shortcut on this one. Either way is just fine. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. It says find the f of x times the g of x. So I'm going to take my f of x, which is going to be the x plus 3y, and I'm going to multiply that then times x minus 3y. All right, so notice how these are the opposites. So I'm going to have x squared, and then notice how our middle terms end up canceling each other out. Our positive 3xy and our negative 3xy. So I'm going to jump all the way to the last terms, which is going to give me a negative 9y squared. All right, let's take a look at our last example here. It says whether a dog has pointed ears or floppy ears is determined by a combination of two genes. Pointed ears are dominant. Suppose each parent has the gene combination PF. All right, so each has this combination of capital PF, the PF. So it is our pointed ears and our floppy ears. And remember, pointed ears are dominant. So I've got a P and an F. So that's one of the parents. Now our other parent, I'm going to put here P and F. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the different combinations that we could have of the genes that are being passed on to the dogs. So I'm going to have two parents that have pointed, and this would be a P and an F. And here I'd have a P and an F. And here I'm going to have two that are the floppy ears. All right, so if we take a look here, 1/4 of the time, we're going to have a P squared, which is 1/4, or 25% of the time, we'll have a P squared, and this is going to be pointed. 1/2 of the time, or 50% of the time, we're going to have a combination of PF. And because the P is dominant, this combination is going to end up with pointed ears as well. And then our last population, we would have 1/4 of the time, or 25% of the time, where you're going to have the F squared, which ends up resulting then in a floppy ear. So when it's all said and done, you have a 75% chance of having a pointed ear dog, and 25% of the time you'd have a chance of it being a floppy eared. So in this